Hi everyone, this is Diane Marie. I am your host today, and today we're going to make some more rainbow candles, God promise. And we have everything here. Today, the fragrance that we're going to be using today, we're going to be using Juniper Breeze from Candle Science. Thank you, Candle Science. And we're going to use Asa Berry from Crafter's Choice, which is Wholesale Supplies Plus. You can get it there. So today we're going to use 6 colors of the rainbow. So basically what we're going to do is, here are our candles here. I've already added the wicks in them. So we're just going to set these aside here. And we're going to go ahead and pull our scale up a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and weigh out our wax so it can be melting. And I will have to go get my melting container pot so that we can sit this in a pot of water. So it's going to take us longer to melt. So I'm going to pause you guys just for a second and go ahead and get my water pot bath here so that we can let this melt down. And then we're going to weigh out our wax, and we're going to put our wax into our pot. Here's our fragrance oil here that we have. And we're going to do each layer. And it's going to take us a while to do each layer. So we'll come back and we'll show you everything that we do here. Okay guys, our water is heated up, so we're going to go ahead and weigh out our wax here that we have. Okay, so we have our wax weighed out here. So now we're going to take it and put it into our hot water bath that's here. Hope y'all can see that. That's our hot water bath. So we're just going to sit it down in that. I'm going to turn it down a little bit so it can go ahead and start melting. Alright, so we're going to let that melt for a little bit, and then we'll bring you back. Okay guys, we're back. So we still have a few chunks in here. So we're at 155. So we're trying to get these last chunks that we have here to melt. So this is what they look like. If you can see the little chunks in there, you can see them in here. So we're just going to continue to stir them up before we add in our so we're not going to add in our fragrance just yet. So our first layer is going to be our purple from Candle Science. Thank you, Candle Science. And I think we're going to use 4 colors. So before we pour this into our jars, we're going to heat up our jars to reduce some of, hopefully, the frosting and cracking and ash and all that kind of stuff that goes on in candles. So we're about almost there. I want to get rid of the chunks before I add in my color. And we're going to try to pour at a cooler temperature at this time, because we're just doing an experiment here, because we're still trying to learn our candles situation and model, and go from there. I got one little tiny visible piece that's almost melted. So, okay, so we're going to do 4 drops of our purple color. Okay, that was 4 drops. We're going to set this to the side here. So our temperature is at 150. I want to get it down so we won't burn off our essential oil. So basically I'm going to turn this on, and we're just going to try to heat up our jars from the inside and out. So that's what we're doing here. It's heating up our jars. Heat up the outside as well. Okay, I'm going to let that sit just for a second. And this is what our purple color looks like. It's so pretty. I love this purple. Let's see. 77, 78, 77, 77, 76. So we're gonna keep heating these up. I want to bring this temperature down a little bit. It's at 146. So now we're fixing to add in our fragrance oil, which is okay. Okay. And now we're just going to stir for 2 minutes. Going to turn this back on. So let's tear this out, and we're going to, ooh, that's hot. We're going to try to pour this in. Okay. We gotta go a little bit further. Okay. Alright, we're just gonna set this aside. And we're just gonna weigh out the rest of our container. I'm gonna tear this off. We're gonna heat this up again. Okay. Okay. And we're going to put our sticks here. Make sure we keep everything straight. Okay. We're going to heat this up again. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to heat up again. Okay. And here's our last one. We're going to heat up. Okay. Make sure we stay on point. Okay. So now we're going to let this cool, and I'm just going to let this sit here. We're going to let it cool, and then we'll bring you back and we'll do the next layer. Okay guys, we're back, and we're going to do the blue, and this is blue from Candle Science, and we're going to use 4 drops like we did the purple. Okay, that's 4 drops. We're just going to give it a stir. Alright, right now our temperature for this is 156. So we're gonna turn on our scale and we're gonna add in our fragrance oil. Okay. Alright, and then we're just going to take this down and we're just going to give it a stir. And we got to stir for 2 minutes. So our humidity in the room is at 29. Okay, so we're going to put our, and then we're just going to heat this up. I'm trying not to melt the wax. Okay, now we're going to just pour our second layer on. And this is our blue. Okay. Alright, this is our second layer. We're going to set that to the side. We're going to put our wick back on here. Alright. Alright, this is the second layer. Okay. to our third. Cup here. I went over just a tad bit, so I gotta take some out. Okay. All right. Okay. Set this aside. Okay. And you know what? I forgot to heat up the things. We'll figure it out as we go. Trying not to melt the thing. I forgot. I just forgot. Completely forgot. Because I was so focused on pouring the layers, I just completely forgot. Okay, let's do this last layer. Okay. Alright, this is the last layer. Alright, and we're going to let it sit. And then we'll bring you guys back for the next layer. We're getting ready to pour the green layer. So basically we're just letting it cool because it's too hot to put the fragrance oil in. So we're just letting it cool so we won't burn off the fragrance oil when we get ready to stir it up. Trying to get it down to a certain temperature, but right now it's not there at that point yet, so we are getting there. So far we have added 3 layers. This is the 4th layer of our candles. Alright. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add in our fragrance oil. So now we're just going to stir it. So we're stirring it so it can adhere to the wax as it cools down. We didn't want to add it at a hot temperature so it wouldn't burn off. But we're just giving it, you know, we're going to stir it for 2 minutes. I know I don't stir mine for 2 minutes, but because I hate waiting. But I want to make sure that these work. And we're just going to add this layer. And I'm trying not to add bubbles in there. Bubbles tend to come out. And alright, so we're going to turn this off. We're going to turn our heat gun on here. I'm going to try to heat up the side, because I don't want to melt the inside. I just want to heat the glass part up. Okay. Alright, now we're trying to reduce the air bubbles. So let me see. Where we at? Alright, we're at 148 to pour. So we're good. And I'm just trying to reduce the air bubbles that goes in to our wax. This aside. Okay. Okay. Trying to keep the wick even. This is a tedious task, but it's worth it at the end.
To all guys in long-distance relationships, if you suspect your girl might be cheating or seeing another guy,
I don't know what that was. So we're going to take some of this out. Okay. Alright. Moving right along. Okay. There's a bubble in there. Alright. Alrighty. So we're just going to let it sit for a little bit. Alright, we're doing orange, which is the next one. Alright. These colors can get awful messy. Let me add some more water. Let's see where we at. Okay, we're at 175, people. That is way too hot to pour. Way too hot to pour. So we gotta let this cool down. And it's way too hot to add the fragrance oil because I'll burn it off and then it won't smell. And we don't want that. We want nice smelling candles. Even though this scent is a light, very light scent, but it smells good when it burns. I did some wax melts of these and it smells awesome. I love it. Just smell it. It's a light scent, so that's the reason why I paired it with this Juniper Breeze scent from Candle Science. This is just a light scent. I mean, if you don't like strong scents, this would be the good one. I mean, it smells just awesome. I love the way this smells, and like I said, it's a great scent. So we're just trying to keep it, give it that boost of a scent. Um, it's a very light scent, but we want to give it a boost. And this scent paired together, it's not a bad scent. It's not a bad scent. It's a very, very, I mean, it's very cool scent. Very cool scent. But once it burns, I think it's going to be just absolutely, you have to burn it in order to smell the scent. I like strong scents. That's just me. I like strong scents. Okay, we're at 170. So we were at 176. So we're getting there. I'm just going to keep stirring. My glass is very, very hot. But we're going to let it sit here, and we're going to keep stirring. I'm just going to keep stirring. So what I do, so I like to mix soy wax with the sand wax. And I don't like to put but a little bit of sand wax in there, and it helps melt down. It helps harden fast, and it helps cure a little bit faster than the normal wax does. It hardens a little bit faster. That's the reason why I use the sand wax, because it hardens a little bit faster. And the sand wax kind of burn a little bit slower than just soy wax. So I like to combine them both. That's just my preference, that I like. That's just what I like. Let's see where we at. We're at 167. Okay, we're coming down. We're coming down. So I can't wait to see what it's going to look like at the very end. Um, so I'm just trying to see what it will be like when we all get all the colors in there. Okay, we're at 160. We are almost there at the cooling stage. That's good. So, do you like the little flakes, or do you like the little round little chips when you using your soy wax, or do you like the brick where you have to slice and cut it and melt it down like that? So the reason why I like doing it this way, it takes time to melt. If I didn't have but one color, this would be fine. I can be doing this in under an hour, 30 minutes. But it's taking me long because I have 6 layers that I am doing, and it's just a little bit it takes a little bit longer. Then you have to wait and cool down. I'm learning that I have to heat up the glass jar so it can adhere and it won't frost. We'll see, because this is something new to me that I'm learning. And pour at a lower temperature so it won't crack or break down or tunnel, or have those issues. So I have not put the fragrance oil in here. Alright, we're at the point where we can put the fragrance oil in. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay. So we're going to stir this for 2 minutes. And once you put the oil in there, it helps cool down even faster. So my pouring is going to be like 149 and below. Like I said, normally when I take it off the fire, I just add the fragrance. Once it's melted, add the fragrance and pour it into the jar. Well, you get frosting that way. So I'm learning as I go. This is a learning channel, people. So we're learning how to make candles. We're learning how to do it together. We're learning new tips and tricks that we do. Some of you might already know this information, but we like to a refresher course, But we're here learning together. We're learning how to make candles. And like I said, I got a lot of tunneling on the last time, and I got a lot of dullness and frosted candles, which there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, but we get better every time. We learn something new every time. And I'm trying not to add any more bubbles, because once it cools, you can add plenty of bubbles. So, alright, now it's time to pour. So we're going to start with this one. And we're going to tear out the scale. So we're going to also break the fall of our soap. I mean our our wax. We're just going to break the fall of it. Okay. And we're going to take some of this out. Because we want to stay at the consistency where everybody else is. And I'm going to put our little thing up there. Okay. They look very, very good. I'm not a perfect candle maker, but I do alright. I get by. Alright. Like I said, this is the learning channel. I learn, you learn. And if you have any questions or any tips that you would like to share in the group, please leave the comments below. Comments are great, y'all. Just nice comments. Okay? We don't need anybody harassing anybody or just hurting other people's feelings. We are trying to be a nice channel. Okay. We've got one more layer and then we will be done with this candle, this rainbow candles. God's promise that he will not destroy the world with rain anymore. See, we're going to let that sit just for a second or two. Alright, we'll bring it back for the last layer. Alright, last colors, you guys. Last color. Top was just a little crooked. $164. Still too hot. Yes. Hot. still too hot to add in the fragrance oil. We're coming down. It's at 156. We're going to add in our fragrance oil now. Okay. Alright, that's our fragrance oil. I didn't think we was going to make it. But we did. Hooray! We made it. Alright, this is the last layer. Alright, y'all. Let's do this. Ooh. That might have a sinkhole in it. These are actually not quite hardened yet. I want to try to add yeah, this is still way too hot. Try to get it to 1 ounce. If I can get it to 1 ounce, that would be great. And it died on me. Okay, so we're gonna assume that's just 1 ounce. So these are not hardened yet, so I'm gonna wait before I pour this in. I'm gonna let this cool, let those harden up a little bit, let this cool a little bit, because it is still at, it's at 140, so should be cool, but it's not. So I'll bring you guys back. I think we're gonna have a problem with this one, but we'll see. This one act perfect. Those two didn't act right. Not sure why, but we'll figure it out. Was a perfect pour. All right. Alright, that's it, people.